Welcome to the SHT podcast. This podcast is created by our community, for our community, and for anyone else who wants to look, feel, and perform like a frickin' badass. Your holistic health journey starts and continues right here with us. Rediscover how you were meant to live. Is that what you wanted me to say?
All right. Hey, what's up, y'all? Check out this new interview that I did with my good friend Kyle Douglas, who at the time of this interview was serving overseas in the military. And we talk about keeping it real while being in a very limited options and restrictive situation such as that. I think we have some really good insights and nuggets there for you. And we also talk about like being a family man and trying to just impact the world in a really good and positive way. And I just absolutely adore this guy. I'm so thankful that he's connected to us. He found us through social media and has been like a hard charger ever since. So really appreciate Kyle for spending this time with us. All right. Hope you guys enjoy. All right, cool. So I'm sitting here with Kyle Douglas. And Kyle Douglas, how old are you again, man? Right now?
I'm 37.
37.
Yikes.
Freaking trooper, 37, from Vegas.
Yeah, man. I grew up here.
Right?
Not born here. Military brat, Air Force brat, so I was born in Florida. Moved around, Canada, Washington, but I grew up here.
As an Army brat?
For Air Force, yeah. My dad was active duty. Yeah, we moved around. And I grew up here. We moved here in about 94. And I left in 03.
Nice.
For the Air Force, yeah.
Yep, and then where are you stationed at right now?
So I just did a year tour over in the Arabian Gulf in Qatar. And so now I'm back on vacation with my family, and we're going to be headed to England for a couple of years.
Oh, so you're not going back there, huh?
No.
You're just, okay.
No, yeah, headed to England after this.
Nice. All right, so... And then Kyle comes to us from, I'm trying to remember how we met. I remember you coming and doing a workout or two here. Was it during the Open?
It was during the Open, I think 2 or 3 Opens ago. It was actually before a 6-month deployment, and I was just home on vacation. And I found the gym through a friend and popped in, met you and Colby that day. Banged out, I think it was wall balls and rowing. Whatever that one was a few years ago, 0.1, and then we kind of just hit off mutual, like-mindedness. I always like to say.
We had a really good conversation, and then I guess I just gave you a card or sent you some links or something like that.
That's what it was, man. And I really kind of from that point on, really, because I'm always striving to get better, right? And I think. We struck that like-mindedness, and then I was really intrigued after talking to Colby and you about SHT and how I can, leverage that, leverage food, and I had some questions, and you guys just rattled them off and answered them like pros, and ever since then I've been kind of latched on.
Yeah, I remember like after that, like you would like a lot of stuff, like Facebook, Instagram or something. You'd comment, you'd ask questions. You remember we sent you some cookies.
That's right.
And I was like, man, this guy's like freaking really taking to it. Like it was really cool. And then Kyle was in town, and I was like, dude, we got to link up. Are you doing the shooting class tomorrow? I can't remember if you can't.
I was going to try and make it over there, but my schedule, got 2 little girls, right, that I'm running around with, and my fam.
Right.
We're trying to fit it all into my last couple of days here before we bug out.
Yeah, so then we just met for a drink the other day, and we're sitting there just kind of BS, and I was like, dude, we need to get you on the podcast. This is such good info for other people to hear.
I am honored to be sitting here, having spent so much time listening and educating myself, and you just make this so easy and readable and digestible. And I think that is a welcome thing in the cloudiness of the nutrition world.
Yeah, the complexity and the chaos and the neurosis, that a lot of people have.
You did a podcast on just how, societal norms and things like that, and misconceptions, and the whole, eat 5 cups of oatmeal a day and stuff, all that kind of craziness, man, that the real world will preach to you, and none of it's backed by real. What's the word that you use? Wisdom. What is it? Ancestral wisdom.
Yeah,
I love that because that's it, man.
Yeah.
That's it. Like our bodies are organically made to just like run off of real food and fuel, and we've just gotten so far away from that. And everybody wants a pill or a shake for everything, and that's just not how we're designed. And so optimally, right, your body's not going to run if you're just plugging it full of stuff that's not real.
Well, people just don't know, because we were talking about this the other day. It's like everyone has the same goal, in that everyone wants to be happy and look good and feel good and be comfortable in their own body. And the only reason they're doing all the craziness is because that's what they've been told, and they don't know another way. They don't know how glorious this way can really be. And it actually, they're like, no, you can't just do that with real food. You got to have a supplement. You got to have a powder. You got to have,
Right. I got to have,
that's
look
going to be
at
bad for you, or, like.
That new commercial, man, I just need this drink in my life, and and it's just, nothing is going to work as well as what you're made to be fueled off of.
Yeah. So let's learn a little bit about you.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll send people questions so they can think about it before they come in. So you're getting blindsided with
That's
this.
all right,
but you're
man.
used to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's 17 years in the service.
Oh yeah. So what do you do in the Air Force?
What's
your MOS, or whatever they call it?
Let me start off by saying, nothing I'm talking about today is promoted by the military, right? I'm here as Kyle Douglas. I am a CrossFit coach. I've been doing that for about 7-8 years now, and so I'm here as an admin fitness guy, SHT member, so to speak, and I'd love to help anyone inside and outside the military with some of my experience. So
cool.
I've been active duty Air Force for about 17 and a half years since I left Vegas in 2003, moved all over the world and things like that. I've been married for about 10 years now. I got 2 little baby girls, and recently been reunited with them after spending a year overseas on a remote assignment. And so I'm enjoying some vacation here. And
you look so young. I would have guessed in your 20s.
Well,
honestly,
I attributed that to just taking care of myself, man. Preventative maintenance.
Yep.
And that's it's an easy term to digest, but nobody will put their minds to it. And the military does a good job of making decisions for you and saying, well, if you can't cut it, we're either going to cut you or you have to cut it, right? And so about 2005, 6-ish, I kind of started to chase down fitness after never really caring. And, I was sitting there at 225, 36.5-inch waist, on the cusp of failing what would be a physical fitness exam. And I was dating my now wife at the time, and we decided to start chasing after, looking to the future. And ever since then, I've just been trying to get better and better and better, and more dialed in. And I'll tell you, the last few years, after really getting dialed in with kind of the SHT mindset here, Paul, it's just really reinvented me and reinvigorated. Man, I sleep great, I eat great, I poop great, all of those things, man. And that's all it is, dude.
Yeah.
Real food will take care of all of that for you.
Yep.
You need no pills or supplements for any of it.
Yeah, I like what you said about the preventative maintenance, because we were talking about that the other day.
With the
about
car.
How, what were we saying? We were saying, just like with a car, you
Exactly.
gotta change the oil. You gotta do these things that in the immediate, you're not gonna notice anything. If I do or don't change my oil at this next 5,000 mark, it's not that I'm gonna notice or not notice a change, but I will notice that down the road. And the problem with some of these things we're asking to do for health, although we do notice some immediate benefits from it for sure. I mean, most people within days, they start to feel better and probably tighten up or whatever, but a lot of it is not immediate gratification. The gratification comes after you've done it for a significant period of time, and then you really start to reap the benefits. Wasn't it something like that we were talking about?
That's exactly right, and that's why I love to talk about it, man, is, you compare, your body's a car, and if you fail to take care of the car, what's the car going to do? It's going to die and not perform optimally well before its end date.
It's going to start to break down. You could put some other fuel in it besides some good quality gasoline, right? And it will run for a little bit on
That's it. You can throw a missized tire on one side, and man, I could run for another 10,000 miles. Is it going to run optimally? No. Is it eventually going to break down before it's supposed to? Yes. I got a buddy who's got a Chevy pickup with about 300K on it. and it's still running like a champ. Why? And all he's done is service the vehicle. You got to service your body, Paul, and that's it. Preventative maintenance is the key. And a lot of people, especially in the professional worlds, be it military or otherwise, right? They want to put all the blame on their job, something else, but they don't want to put it on their have their cake and eat it too lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
They still want to smash their monsters and their donuts every day. They still want to try and run on 5 hours of sleep. And you just can't do that.
Well,
man.
what's crazy and tragic about that is they don't know that is the big contributor. They have it's so crazy that that's not the first people that think or first thing that people think about when things are off or not going well or you feel off or whatever. It's the things you're eating, how your sleep is. It's that's the afterthought. That's not the priority where it should be the priority, because you make that the priority and everything about your life and work and family and mood and emotions and focus and all that stuff get better.
You just can't have your cake and eat it too. And I am an admitted person that I have taken a long time to come to this decision, right? To come to this realization of, man, being really empowered by real food. And yes, like you, and you've said before, I was the guy that chased, early on, chased the microwavable healthy choice meals. And then it was, I need to eat chicken breast and rice and oatmeal all day, every day, right? And I chased that down for a while. More and more knowledge. And now it's led me to, I took the last year of my deployment to really focus on SHT and those principles. And coming off of that deployment, I'll tell you, I've never felt better. My skin, my hair, my nails, my sleep, my energy, I wake up every day being fueled from dinner the night before, with real food and fat. I eat a ton, a big plate, a little cup of yogurt and some plantains, almost every single day.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons I want to get you on here, because you're a example representative of someone, not just in the military, but in a situation where you don't have a full kitchen.
Yeah.
You got a microwave in your place, right? When you were over there in Dubai,
correct,
right?
Yeah.
And then you have the DFAC or the mess hall or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was asking yesterday, can you make this work in that situation?
Yeah, and you can
make real food work in that situation?
You can absolutely make it work, but it goes right back to what I was saying, right? You can't have your cake and eat it too, right? You got to invest in the one asset that everybody should really be investing in, and it's your body and your heart and your mind, right? Because heart disease is the number one killer in the world, right? More than anything else, more than COVID-19, more than whatever, man. And that's where we're at, and right. And when you take those steps, then you can have your cake sometimes. Like you and I the other day, sat down for a cocktail. You consistently talk about having a little chocolate, having a little of this, a little bit of that, right? But you leverage things that your body will optimally process and that will become bioavailable, right? Yep. And I love the bioavailability thing that you've talked about again in your podcast, which I'll continually reference because I've listened to them all and I've jumped in and really felt the benefits of that. And so back to the military side of, you can absolutely do it anywhere.
So what does that look like? So you got the mess hall or the DFAC.
Yep.
So what's your options there? Is it a buffet line, or do you have
it sort of depends on where you're at.
Meat area, fried area, or Chinese area?
I'll just speak on where I was at, right? And there are some healthier options, absolutely, right? But on the same level, there's a million other non-healthy options. You walk into a DFAC and you got a salad bar line, you got a pizza line, you got a chicken wing line, you got a main line with whatever the special of the day is. You got a grill line, where I can get a chicken breast or a hamburger grilled up or something like that. And so with a little knowledge, a little foresight and planning, you can really get in there, eat a good meal, think about what my breakfast, lunch, or dinner is going to be the next day, maybe pack that to go, and then pair that with a couple of good things like, I got a thing of butter in my room, and I can get some of those healthy...
Got a fridge?
Yeah, exactly, right? And I got a microwave, and you can about cook anything you need to in a microwave.
Yeah.
I cooked, sweet potatoes about every other day, in my microwave, Paul. And again, it's back to that knowledge piece, and I'll say I was at a place where I didn't know any better, and I'm sure you were at that place too. And hopefully through this, we can help some of those people just make a good choice and see that there's always an option and there's always a choice, and you can control what you put in your mouth every single time, and nobody else controls that.
Yeah, you just got to know the right info. I mean, that's the thing.
Boom.
Once you know the right info, then it's like, all right, now I have to work with what I got. I'm going to make the best choices I can. In most situations, you probably have access to something that's better than the worst thing that's available there.
And that's what's it. What's better than the right? Yeah. What is the optimal choice here?
That I have here in front of me?
Right.
So, did you eat 2 meals in the mess hall, or did you what was your strategy there? Did you always eat there? I know you got leftovers and brought it to your room. But
most of the time, yeah. I would usually always eat in my room, and then once COVID-19 struck, everything locked down over there, and it was almost mandatory that you took your meal to go, right? But what you could always do is go in there, put together your meal, and then on your way out, you could put together a couple of to-go meals, and I got lunch and dinner the next day. And so I would have to only go back about every other day, every 2 days, depending on the portions that I could, roll out of there with.
How many meals a day were you eating usually?
That's it. I ate lunch and dinner every day, and that was it.
And they had plantains there?
So I was able to get those off base pre-COVID, and then post-COVID, once we got locked down on the base, every now and then I could secure some plantains through a friend. Most of the time it was bananas, though. Next best option. Some of those type of things, or some cantaloupe. Kiwis were very plentiful, and those are an excellent thing, in the evening, micronutrient-wise there, and sleep-wise. So.
Yeah. So I think bottom line is if you can arm yourself with the right info, you can make the best choice you can no matter where you're at. Might not be perfect, but better is better.
That's it. And you put out all the right info, man. Yeah. I'll tell you what.
That's the thing, man. It's like,
how
do you know what the right info is? But if you're not seeing the changes that you think you should be, and you're committed to something, but it's just not doing what you think it should, you gotta at least consider the possibility that some of what you think is right is not.
Exactly, and that's something in my personal and professional life. I always take every day I walk out the door. Right, is every room that you walk into, right? There's a million, whoever's in there, right? There's somebody knows something you don't in that room. Nobody knows everything, right? Nutrition is not an exact science. So every star, celebrity, famous person that puts out their diet plan, is that diet plan for you? No, it's not, man. It's for them and what their targeted goal is. And I think that's an important thing to take into every day. And even what they may be doing is not right, wrong, or indifferent, but it's for them. And there is some ancestral wisdom to how our bodies operate. Based on the fuel that you put in it, and
well, it's having a good base framework.
Yes.
Like we talk about, an ancestral wisdom component combined with modern science. Like just figuring out, okay, what's our definition of food? What's our basic rules? And then within that, we just encourage always experimenting because, like you said, no one's really going to know what works for them until they tinker with stuff, and so. If you're constantly have this basic framework and you're constantly eating fresh, real food, and then within that framework you're trying to facilitate some experiments, kind of like what we're doing right now with the flexible animal-based omnivore, I mean, you can't help but kind of gravitate towards the things that feel right and that you feel like do best for you and your body.
I'll tell you two things real quick. Let me, on that subject before we move on, is it's funny how when you invest and just eat real food, how much more food you can actually eat is so funny, right? I will pack up a plate full of real food and people be like, dang, that's a lot of food. But it's not really, right? It's just packed full of nutrient-dense, real food, right? Like I will throw a huge bowl of spinach together, steak and shrimp on that, some fruit and things like that. And man, I will have a monster, but it's really not a ton of food. It's just nutrient dense, and it even isn't calorically dense speaking, right? But people just look at a plate and they're like, oh man. But when you really understand what the food is, then it's not a big deal. And the second thing I'll say is don't be afraid to, one, try something, and two, stick to your plan. Because as soon as you're either into fitness or you're into food or whatever, people will start to look at you, think you're judging them, right? Oh, Mr. Healthy, Mrs. Healthy, you're doing this, right? And it's just
especially if it's different from what they're doing. They get self-conscious about it. We talk about that a lot.
And especially in military circles, man, I'll tell you, right? It's just... It is a tough thing to stray from the norm, right? Because people are very scared of just being themselves. They're scared of judgment. And as humans, we're very scared of what? Rocking the boat, right?
Well, yeah, and you have such a close camaraderie with a lot of the people that you work with there. You can't help but associate yourself with them and want to be like them to some degree. And like you said, it's kind of difficult to blaze your own path. But we also talked about you just have to be an example versus like trying to push your opinions on people. Just do what you're going to do and let the results speak for themselves. And if someone wants to know about it, they'll probably ask you about it.
Yeah, and then you can be like, yeah, this is where I'm at, man.
Yep. Cool. So that's really good stuff. Let's learn just a little bit about you. Might pull some interesting stuff out of this. So can you describe your life in your major pivot points? Meaning, like, you go through life, it could be considered, looking back, a negative or bad thing, which all contributed to the greater good. But it's like, what were those? Describe your life in major pivot points that changed the direction of your life. Okay,
I could definitely do that, and I got a few. First pivot point, graduating high school. Graduated Cimarron Memorial. We're literally sitting right next to it right now. And 2001. And I spent the next couple of years figuring life out. And tried to do college, tried to do some jobs, didn't work out. So pivot point number one, bam, 2003, go in the military, right? Air Force. Followed in my dad's footsteps. It was never forced on me, but it was my best available option. Because my parents were just going to pay for me to live on their dime, right? I had to get, so I did that. First huge pivot point there. And then
what was your job, first job, same as what you're at right now?
Right, my career field is the same, although my positions within my career field have gone from very simple as a young kid to very complex now as a seasoned senior NCO, so right from then I went to Italy for 2 years.
Where?
Aviano, so it's northern Italy, about an hour and a half outside of Venice.
Wow.
And I had my next really big pivot point came about a year and a half later, February 1st, 2004. I was involved in a very, very serious car accident where loss of life was completely possible.
Wow.
My family had to be called to Italy, and I'll try and keep this story as short as I can. But that was a huge thing. I was in a medically induced coma for 14 days.
Wow.
I was going to have brain surgery. My entire life was hanging in the balance. Thankfully, a lot of good things medically went my way. I did not need emergency surgery. About 14, 15 days later, I was taken out of a medically induced coma and spent about the next 6 to 7, 8 months hopping between hospitals and rehabilitating myself on my journey back to Italy.
Like rehabilitating based on your body injuries or your brain?
Correct, yeah. Yeah, I had pretty significant injuries. Just to roll those up, right, 5 broken ribs, lacerated liver, punctured lung, and a severe traumatic brain injury to my right frontal lobe, all of which, caused a myriad of issues. And then subsequent medical testing and things like that over the course of about the next 6 months to get me back to what would eventually be normal duty and back to my job. And so my next big pivot point was leaving Italy, moving to outside of Kansas City, Missouri, going through a big breakup relationship, and then spending a little while finding myself there. That's when I really started to kind of eat terrible. And
did you know it at the time, though?
No, heck no, right? Because everyone did the same thing. Everyone I knew, smashed pizzas and rock stars on the reg.
Yeah.
Right, and that was our lifestyle too in the military. We've gotten away from that a little bit, but it's still very much prevalent. And then thankfully, I met my now wife, and then a couple of years later, got married and really started to invest in ourselves, in our relationship, grow together. And then we got married in 2011, big, huge pivot point there. Moved in together, and then really grew together, which was critical, I think, to our relationship now, is we spent some time together. Friends, trips, all those types of things, right? And then...
and I remember you said you spent a lot of time really getting to know each other before you had kids, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm not saying that works for everyone. It worked great for us. And I think because we were a little bit older, I think it was a critical thing that I look back on now and I'm so thankful for. Because if we would have got married and rushed into kids, I don't think our relationship would have been as concrete as it is now. And so 2015 December, we had our first kid, another huge pivot point there, Dalen, my daughter, who's now 4. And then a couple of years later, we were living in North Dakota at the time, which was its own pivot point there. We had our second child, another huge pivot point there. By this time, I'm pretty into fitness. I've got my CrossFit level 1, and that in and of itself was a huge turning point in my fitness and lifestyle journey of just pursuing my longevity. And then fast forward to now, we are in probably what is our biggest pivot as a family. We're going to be moving over to the UK at the end of this month, and we are scared, nervous, and excited, and embracing the challenge. And I just hope that I just keep investing in myself, and I'm there for my kids and my family.
It's good stuff, man. What about, that's a pretty varied path there, and that sounds awesome. What about walking us through a normal day? Like, what's a typical day?
Sure.
Like, you get up, you have a morning routine, coffee, like, what do you do? And then just walk us through a day.
So, yeah, a typical day for me. I'll say the last year of my life, was wake up, take care of, get some water in me, get to the gym. You
work out in the morning?
Yep. Yeah. I'll say parent life kind of dictates that, right? And I grew to, my job over there kind of dictated that. And so I've become that kind of morning worker outer, that 5 a.m. class, And,
is that what time you get up? What
time
you get
up? Get up at 4. And then, 5 a.m. class, come back, shower, change, right?
Class at the gym that you coach at?
Correct. Yeah. And then
no coffee, no pre-workout, no anything like that?
No. And you have put together some great education on that, of which I took a hold of and really sought out fueling my body correctly. And man, you just don't need it, dude. You just don't need it. And you just got to fuel appropriately and find your balance. And I found it, and it worked. And so then, I'd get to work about 7:30, and definitely my body's ready for that. Usually some type of bulletproof coffee, with a little fat, a little collagen, something like that. Absolutely. And I'll work that up until about lunch, which is 11 or noon. Get into lunch. Pretty SHT focused, some meats and veggies, some healthy fats there. And then once my work day is complete, get home, usually get dinner rolling, 5:30, 6.
That's a DFAC again, or is that
correct?
Stuff you brought home? Correct.
Yeah. I'd usually go at 5, get it and bring it back. Kind of get together what I wanted, for optimal eating, and put that together. Of course, little carbs in the evening. That's something I latched onto for sure. and tie it off with some healthy fruits. And then and that was it. And that was a usual day for me. I'll tell you, I used to be a hardcore snacker, right? Because I used to buy into that. Okay, I need my pre-workout, my post-workout. I need my snack. I need my lunch. I need my afternoon snack, my protein bar, my whatever it is. And man, once I got away from all that, it is so freeing. And I know, again, that's something you've talked about. And it is against the norm, Paul, right? Against the norm, everybody. But you'll find when you invest in the real food, the real nutrients, the power of food, it works for you. Those couple of cups of coffee in the morning, right? That's enough because your body's ready to be fueled by that, and it becomes bioavailable. It's real, and your body takes care of the rest, man. And it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome when you get to feel the benefits of food almost instantaneously, based upon what you measure and work out, man. And it's so fun and freeing, because then I'm not tied to I need my pre post mid-afternoon fourth meal, whatever it is, man. Lunch and dinner stacked appropriately was good to go.
So what was your favorite foods before learning the right info?
Oh, my favorite foods, back in the, I won't say back in the day, but I was a big oatmeal person in the mornings, for sure. And man, that was the toughest thing to move away from. Yeah. Because what have we learned from the time we were born into this world, man? Is breakfast the most important meal of the day, right? Of course it is. Of course it is. How could
carbohydrates?
How could it not be? I need to be fueled off carbs, but it's so inefficient. It's so inefficient, and that is why we crash in the afternoons. We hit that afternoon slump, they like to call it, right? But I'll tell you, after fueling at lunch with some appropriate fats and things like that, dude, I would hit my stride at 2, 3.
Yeah, my mornings and my mid-afternoons are like the best.
I
taper off about 4 or 5,
best, right?
Yep.
And it's just so, again, freeing. I'll just keep using that word. When you just latch on and you let that food work for you, and just your body takes care of the rest, man. And it's not something to be taken lightly or dive headfirst into. A lot of people like to say, okay, starting 1 July, I'm doing X, Y, Z, B, C, D, E, and F. No, bro, take it easy, man, okay, right? Let's just start with giving up the rock stars. Okay, let's do that for 3 weeks. Okay, now let's move into giving up the oatmeal, right? Okay, cool. Now let's move to, getting to lunch, stacking my dinner appropriately. That's the biggest thing too. I think they're strategic, kind of sort of fast, if you want to call it, right? From the evening to the morning, being able to be fueled, is stacking that meal appropriately.
Yeah. What are like the biggest changes that you've noticed, since changing everything up?
My body composition. Wow. Yeah. Body composition for sure, right? My body fat percentage is about nil, and I have enough for optimal performance, and that's enough. And if you measured just the amount of fat that I eat, you would probably be astounded, right?
And you used to be overweight.
Oh yeah, and it's so scary, right? Because we're so taught to, oh my gosh, take the skin off that chicken. Don't put butter on that. And I'll tell you, I was the first person to admit that is so weird to me, but now I do it and feel it, and I eat full-fat yogurt, full-fat dairy, full-fat cheese. I smash an avocado with almost every meal. All of those things, butter, oil, fat skin, and it's, one, amazing, right? And two, you reap the benefits from that because our body is made to be fueled off of that. And I've noticed that skin complexion, my nails growing, my hair's growing, everything's out of control, right? Not to mention I sleep great.
Yeah.
And those are some of the biggest things that I noticed, and it's good. I have it's nice to have this year to reflect on, right? Because it was very just me like diving in, right?
Did your wife notice change? I mean, obviously she knows the body, but did she notice? What did she notice about you like that was different?
Oh, she notices absolutely. Just the complexion and things like that, and the energy, the sleep, the ability for your body to perform. I think is what most people notice, and again, my wife notices that, and of course she notices the change in the daily routine, but she gets to see the benefits of the change, and it's almost like she gets this test on me to look at, and then I get to say, well, this is what I've been doing, babe. You know what I mean, right? And my wife, she's such a supporter and enabler for me, almost too much sometimes, and I have her to thank for a million things, the most of which being 2, and our 3rd girl is actually on the way, due in a few months, by the way. But I have her to thank for a lot of things, and she's just a helpful partner in my life.
Yeah, baby's gonna be a real food baby, huh?
Yeah, man, for sure.
What are your favorite foods now?
Oh man, my favorite foods are no doubt avocado for sure. Just beef again. I used to be kind of scared of it. Bacon. Oh my gosh.
Bacon at the beef hack?
Yes, thankfully. In some of those countries, you don't get that. But just fatty cuts of meat, Paul. Skin on.
It's the best
things like that.
Stuff ever.
It's just amazing. And your body is just made to be fueled off of it, man. And man, if I could eat steak, sweet potatoes, Brussels sprouts, bacon, eggs, avocado, utilizing some good fats and things like that, some yogurts and some fruits, I would be a happy camper every single day, dude. And of course, top it off with some sparkling water or something like that, man.
Dude, sparkling water's where it's at.
And a shot of tequila every now and then, and some dark chocolate,
There ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong
for
with
sure.
that. All right, so we talked a lot about like people not understanding the right info.
Oh, sorry, my timer's going off. I'm cooking a brisket, by the way.
It's a freaking legit excuse, man. So we talked a lot about like people having the wrong info, and everyone wanting to be happy and do the right thing. They're not sure what it is. What advice would you give to someone, or maybe even yourself, knowing what you know now, to try to get them along the right path? Or if you went and tried to visit yourself, before learning the right info, is there any advice that you'd give to someone or yourself?
Advice, always a tough road, but I do love to help, and I'll say that the best advice is almost in line with what I kind of said earlier. It's just don't be afraid to stray away from the norm. Invest in something, take some time, and then just educate, transform yourself, and always just strive to get better. Whatever your profession, food, fitness, family, faith, whatever it is, just seek out, transform, and try and get better.
Those foundations will make everything about every part of your life better.
That's it, man.
That stuff figured out.
And then with the guidance, right? Because guidance, can be faulty at times. It's just don't be afraid to test, adjust, transform, and evolve.
So what plans do you have for the future? What's coming up? I know you're moving to the UK.
Yeah, the big move.
Anything else? You got your baby coming?
The big move, the baby.
When's the baby due?
September, late September.
You're going to be over there already, right?
Yep, we'll be over there. And the plans for the future is kind of those F things that I talked about, and that's a big thing I like to talk about is faith, family, fitness, and
now food.
And food are the foundations that to just continually evolve with and get better at, and never get to a point where you like. If you get to a point where you think you're good, you're not right. You probably need to read another book or something. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and just seek that out, the knowledge for sure.
Yep, I love all that, man, and I'm glad I got you on here because you're just one of these examples of someone that does not have access to in-person seminars, does not have access to a lot of the conveniences that a lot of us in this modern world do, but you were still able to find the info, take it to heart, put it into practice, experiment with it, and find a way to make it work even in relatively challenging situation. Like I said, no kitchen, your foods were kind of pretty much dictated. You had certain choices there, but I thought it would be great to get you on here and share your story with that, because you're just a really good example for other people to follow. If you can do it, anybody can do it anywhere. You can do better than what you're doing right now.
That's it. And one of the biggest things, back to that advice, man, is just don't be afraid to get outside the box, evolve, transform, be yourself, try something new, and just stray away from some of those norms, and just take it one step at a time.
I think the norms are where definitely the danger is. Like, if everyone's doing it, it's probably suspect.
Right.
Until everybody's doing the SHT.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. That's a great thing, and I want to thank you for putting me on this. So cool. First ever podcast. I hope I didn't get too lengthy or crazy with some of these things.
Not at all, man.
But
Perfect.
you just control. You can control what you can control, man.
Control what you can control, based on what you know.
And you can always control what you put in your mouth, what you watch, what you put in your mind, and what comes out of you, man.
Yep.
And if you just, don't be afraid to go sit at dinner and say no to a beer, no to dessert, no to fried chicken. No, I'm gonna go with the grilled, or I'm gonna go with the just because everybody else is doing it, don't be afraid, dude. Mm-hmm. And people will ultimately respect you for that.
Yep.
And if they don't, they might not be your true friends.
Yeah. If they give
you know what I mean,
they give
man?
you a hard time for you trying to do something better for yourself.
Like, bro, I'm trying to evolve, man.
Yep. Well, dude, it's good to see you, and I'm glad we had a chance to connect. Wish you're going to be on that gun class tomorrow, but you got a family and all that, because you're leaving Sunday, right?
We're bouncing out about 4 o'clock in the mornings.
Yep. So really thankful that we got to connect, and anything that you ever need, just let me know. Like, keep rocking it and being an example out there, and we'll stay in touch. And we got that online community you're a part of, and that's really good to see you in there sometimes. And let us know if we can do anything to support you and your family. Congratulations with it all.
Thanks, Paul. I appreciate it. And again, I'm blessed to just have this outlet, have this community, and it's a great tool, and I'll keep spreading the word, man, for sure.
Cool. All right, man.
Cool.
Later. This is an addendum. I don't know if we'll put this at the very beginning or what, but sitting here with Kyle Douglas, and then one of the first things I don't know how we got off on it. Maybe I asked him, what's your favorite restaurant here in Las Vegas, especially now that you're a real foodie? And he said, what was it again?
Marche Bacchus. It's
Marche Bacchus over in Desert Shores. I made a reservation for me and Arnica for Saturday evening, and I'm so excited. And I was like, he just went there last night. And tell me about the menu again. Like, what was it like?
The menu's outstanding, and I'll tell you.
What do you recommend?
It's a fine dining French bistro, for sure. But I had the scallops last night that were just phenomenal, great taste in those. My brother had the filet mignon; it was outstanding. And another friend of mine had the mussels and chorizo,
which sounds so
was
good.
just outstanding. And I'll tell you, one of my favorite things is Brussels sprouts, and they have a side dish that is more than enough for two crispy Brussels sprouts, bro. You won't be disappointed.
Nice. And
don't forget that charcuterie plate for the appetizer.
I'm all over
dude.
it. Meat and cheese, right? What's on it?
Yes, fantastic.
Oh, dude. And then Negronis available?
Oh, absolutely, dude. Their cocktail menu is out of this world, and they will take care of you for sure. They are a small small distributor of fine wines from throughout the globe as well, man. So, and I know we both like a glass of wine here and there. So
Nice. All right, Kyle Douglas, y'all.
you got it.
All right, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. If you haven't done so already, I'd highly recommend subscribing to our newsletter at superhumantransformation.com, where you'll get access to all our PDFs and resources. And then I would highly recommend checking out our community website at community.superhumantransformation.com.
And just remember, the purpose of this podcast is to support our SHT community and to be in your ear as a go-to resource for all things SHT.
Yeah, so if you've fallen off, if you need support, just come back and listen to some of these episodes, get re-inspired, re-motivated, and re-engaged. And if you're new to us, the best way to get started is by connecting with us through the websites that we already mentioned, or you can just go to sht4life.com, where you can connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
If you'd like to support us, the best thing you can do is take the information and be living examples to others. You can also share this with people you care about.
And if you'd like to be a part of something amazing and help us empower the planet together, again, I'd highly recommend checking out our community website at community.superhumantransformation.com.
It's a wrap.